is all about how to wash your produce and why you maybe want to start washing it if you aren't already. I know for me personally, I have not always been a big washer of produce. I would rinse things in the sink and just call it good. If I was out and about, I would just eat things without washing them. And actually, it's not a really great thing to do. There's lots of things that are on our fruits and vegetables, even if they're organic. So I'm just gonna give you a little bit of background, and then I'm gonna show you what I use and have been using to wash my produce. If you grow your own produce, you're in the exact place that you need to be because you know exactly what you're putting into your seeds and on your produce as the produce grows, and you are set, and you could probably just rinse it with water and be good to go. But that's probably not the case for mostly everybody watching this video, and myself included. We are starting to grow our own food, which is awesome and next level, like crazy good. But we're also always grocery shopping and still getting the majority of our produce from stores. And with that being the case, in the modern world, 100% of fruits and vegetables have some sort of pesticides on them. Even organic foods may contain some pesticide residue. Pesticides are used to control pests, and they're also used to control any diseases that can come on plants, and they're also used for weeds and things like that. So I get why they're used, and I totally get that. Growing our own food right now and just kind of starting out in that process and learning as we go, I see some things get a fungus or some things get spots on them and you don't know why, and you have to kind of figure out why. And the big commercial growers probably, the easiest thing to do is just to spray everything. However, they're spraying the food that we ingest, and then those pesticides and herbicides have consequences on our health as humans. There are many types of pesticides that are used on conventionally grown produce. One of them is herbicides. Glyphosate, which is made by Monsanto, which is extremely dangerous to health of especially children, pregnant women, and the population in general. This stuff is not good for us to be consuming, which is why I'm a big proponent of having organic. But more on that in a minute. Glyphosate is linked to cancer and also to endocrine disruption, among many other diseases out there. As far as insecticides to control pests, those things can really mess with a child's brain function and brain growth. So you really want to make sure, especially if you're pregnant or if you have a child, that you're not giving conventionally grown produce if you can avoid it. There's a ton of research out there. You can just Google it. Insecticides and pesticides have been linked to cancer, neurodegenerative diseases such as ALS, Alzheimer's, a lot of brain kind of problems that we see very commonly in our world today can be linked to insecticides. Something really interesting and very sad is that the migrant workers who work with the foods that we eat out in the fields, their average life expectancy is only 49 years old, and that is very young. And there has to be some kind of correlation between the things that they're dealing with, the chemicals, the insecticides, the herbicides that they're dealing with on a daily basis, and their poor health and lack of longevity. This is a really shocking statistic. It was very shocking to me. Conventional farmers are allowed to use 900 varieties of synthetic pesticides. That is insane. And organic farmers also, they use pesticides that are synthetic, but on such a smaller level. They're only allowed to use 22 synthetic pesticides. They use naturally derived pesticides and herbicides as well. So you always want to make sure that even if you're buying organic, I really think go organic if you can. Buy organic produce. Spend the money on the things that you can buy organic as far as produce is concerned, because you're already reducing the amount of pesticides that you're exposed to, and then this little wash that I'm going to show you will help you get rid of even more, which is awesome. Children who've been exposed to high pesticide rates have been found to have a lower IQ compared to those having had a low amount of pesticides exposed in their body. I'm going to put these up here, the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. The Dirty Dozen is a list by the Environmental Working Group that shows the most contaminated fruits and vegetables. And obviously, as you can see here, these are really thin-skinned fruits and vegetables. And so it goes without saying those will absorb more pesticides. And then you can use the Clean 15 for the less contaminated produce, and you can buy that conventionally grown if you can't buy it organic. Now, probably you've heard lots of different ways to wash your vegetables. I've heard salt water works. I've tried vinegar and not been super impressed with it, to be honest. And then the third one that I've heard about and have tried is baking soda and water and having a solution of that. Washing your produce in something like this will get rid of some common pesticides and just further make it clean before you put it into your mouth. The solution that I'm going to share with you today is 1 teaspoon of baking soda to 2 cups of water. But honestly, you really don't need to be super precise with it, because I know that's kind of a drag when you just want to make your food and you're like, I don't want to also now tack on another 10 or 15 minutes to soak my food in to just, eating up your time, your precious, valuable time. So as long as you put some baking soda in there and you rinse it with water, you'll be better than not. And then you can kind of eyeball it from here on out. The baking soda over the vinegar and over the salt is really good because it does help to break up the pesticide particles, and that's not just my opinion, that's actually scientifically proven. So with any leafy greens, I am just putting a teaspoon of baking soda and filling a large mixing bowl with the water. Obviously, if you have more greens, you're gonna use more water, more baking soda ratio. And I'm just letting them sit there for a few minutes, not a lot. I'm washing them around, kind of agitating them slightly without ripping the vegetables. And then I'm just rinsing them thoroughly and then laying them out to either chop or dry a little bit. I wanna stress that you wanna wash your produce right before you eat it, because if you wash it and then it's wet and then you stick it back in the fridge, you may then be dealing with that horrible situation where your produce is too wet in the fridge and then it starts to go bad at a rapid rate. So don't do that. Then for some things like mushrooms or berries, especially like gentle berries like raspberries, I wouldn't suggest using the baking soda wash. I would just rinse them really well and kind of make sure you get any dirt off there and let them air dry before you eat them. But anything like greens or broccoli or oranges, apples, anything that is a little bit firmer, peaches, anything like that, really, that you're not going to just rip apart if you throw it into a baking soda wash, you can wash like this. And it's really easy. You just put it in there, you get the rest of your stuff ready that you're going to make, rinse it off, and you're good to go. So this is just another way to kind of clean up even further your produce. I definitely don't want to stress you out by saying you have to do this and your produce is going to kill you. Otherwise, it is what it is. If it's an extra step that you can do, awesome. And if not, if you just rinse things under running water for 30 seconds, you're already getting some pesticide residue off of there, and you're better off than if you had just taken it from the shelf and eaten it like that. Let me know what you think about this. Is this something that you're already doing? Do you already kind of wash your produce extra with baking soda or salt or vinegar? Or is there a mixture that you've found that works really well for you? For right now, this is working really well for me, and I always want to share something with you that's working well. Let me know if you have any questions about this baking soda rinse wash thing that I'm doing right now, and leave any comments down below. I will see you next week for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.